Hey guys, Mitch here from Dynamic Futures Trading. Another video today. Today we're going to have a look at a couple of trades we took today and why, and see if I can show you a little bit about how we go about our business in the trading room. Now, we've had some terrible market conditions out there, and I'll just run through a brief overview of the markets first and foremost. A couple of markets that we trade anyway, which is gold, crude, DAX, and equities. It's all been very sideways, all been very wedgy as far as wedge patterns and triangle patterns. It's been a tough couple of weeks, it really has, and today we finally saw some movement around. We saw a little bit of movement mainly on the Russell on Monday. That's the first movement we've seen in ages anywhere, and it was nice to see today on gold, on the DAX, on all the equities, on crude. It's good to see something happening for a change. It's been a while. So guys, first and foremost, if you like the video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel. You get all our upcoming videos, and whenever we post anything new, you get notified of that. But first off, let's just have a bit of a scroll through the current market and sort of show you what I mean. Let's bring up gold, and with gold, you can see the tight range we're in. We've been sideways for basically the last 30 days. We've been on a very, very sideways path here, and you can see 1295. If you draw a line through 1295, that's pretty much a balance area just there. You can see it always wants to come back to it. It's tried to get out several times, comes back to it, and you go all the way back 30 days. This chart goes back to the 14th of the 4th, and there's really been very little movement. We've gone down to 1268. That got rejected and pulled back very quickly back to that 1295. Went up a couple of ticks, a couple of dollars, back up to 1305. Back down to 1275. But you can see it keeps coming back and hovering around this 1295. So 1295, that 1300, those two levels in there around about that price, the current price is pretty much spot on balance right now. And gold just doesn't want to get away from it. But luckily, when we came in this morning, we were on the upper side of that. As you can see on gold just here, we come in this morning and we had some room to get back to 1295, and that was great to see, because most mornings when we've been coming in lately, it's been tough. We've been sitting right at that 1295, and it's been tough to do anything, because when you're sitting at balance, we like our breakout trades, and breakouts are pretty hard to come by. So that's the story over on gold. Now let's quickly have a look at crude oil, and it's very much the same sort of scenario on crude. If you have a look on the crude 15-minute chart as well, very sideways. The balance is about 101. Okay, everyone's happy at about that 101. It's tried to go above it, tried to go below it, but as you can see, 101 is pretty much 101 is pretty much a balance region, and they've tried to go up a little bit, tried to go down a bit, but all that crude seems to be doing is it goes up. You get these boxes, these ranges on crude, and it's just so range bound right now. So you get one breakout day, and then you get ranging again. You get one breakout, and then you get ranging, all the way through, and then you've got one breakout day over here, and then so you're seeing this ranging markets all over the place. And yeah, there's a little uptrend coming here on crude, but it's just going back up to that sort of 101 region. Went up to 102.50, 102.65, and now it's coming back to 101. So as with gold stuck at 12.95, crude seems to be stuck at about 101. And we saw this a few months ago as well. We saw the same thing on crude oil. We didn't see the same thing on gold. This is the first time I've seen gold like this in a little while, where it's just completely balanced. And gold's one of our favorite markets, and when it's like this, it becomes very difficult to trade. Basically, we're getting very little movement during the cash or the gold session, which is from 8:20 a.m. in the morning through to 2:30 or 2 o'clock. We trade only until about lunch. But we're seeing very little movement in that time. Most of the movement comes in the pre-market, and then we don't really see anything for the whole day. Normally, just hovers somewhere around 12.95. So on crude, on gold, in balance. You can see that on the longer term chart here as well. You can see the wedge pattern, right? Wedge pattern here on gold. And we got the same sort of thing over on the S&P, a little bit different. But if I bring across the S&P, and let's take a look at that, you can see the same thing, right? Balance area pretty much 875. So where my cursor is there, about 875, it tries to go a little bit above, a little bit down. We had this big run up on Monday, and now it's retraced all that. We had a good sell off today. So finally some movement around today, guys. Finally some movement in the market, and we're able to get into business and make some money. And it was great to see. So let's have a look at a couple of the trades we took today. I'll just get this back in its home over on my other monitor there. Let's start off with our gold trade. And we took a nice short trade on the breakout of this price range, pretty much into the lows of the day. As you can see, we had this price, and it was pretty much sideways up into this period. Started seeing some energy. We took a short trade, and we took $900 on this trade. We were hoping to see it continue on. There was a lot of room down below. There was, apart from a couple of swing levels, we were looking at a $20 move here if it got going, but it didn't. We brought our stop down, and we locked in $900 in this trade, just trading one contract, as you can see. So you've got the entry at 1303, so we're above that 1295, and you can see that 1295 is just through here. And when we broke through it, we basically tried to tighten up our stop as close as we could to that 1295, and then seeing if it wanted to go down. Only made it to 1291, and then guess where it went? Back up to 1295. So we took $900 on this trade here today, so 900 US dollars, just trading one contract, right? And it was a pretty quick trade. It only took, these are 1 minute candles, it would have only taken about, what's that, 6 or 8 minutes to get going, then another 10 or 15 minutes. So maybe a 30-minute trade there, and we were $900 in profit. So that's the way we like to trade. We only had I think it was around about a 20 tick stop on this trade. We just use the market to tell us where our stops are. We don't have any set criteria. We could have a 7 tick stop, or we could have a 15 tick stop, or we could have a 20 tick stop. It just depends on the market, depends on what's happening, the volatility before we take the trade, where things are at. We've got our calculations that we use to find our stop levels. But this is a great example of a trade on gold for us there. Now that's a breakout style trade, and worked perfectly for us there today. Second up, we have crude oil. Okay, crude oil contract is a 1 minute chart, and we saw crude come out of balance, right, moving up at the upper extremes, lost energy. We were short at the very highs up here, and we were able to move it back down to 101.95, so we took our short at 102.22. I think it was around about 27 ticks, so 27 ticks or $270 US dollars, just trading one contract on there. And this had a small stop of, I think, around about 12 to 15 ticks, somewhere in there on the stop. So that's our crude oil trade. Pretty simple trade. We trade this reversal every day, and we're just really looking for outer extremes and looking to move back into the middle of the range on crude, especially at the moment. That strategy, should return some good money if you do it right. So that's our crude trade. Next up, just a quick look at the DAX trade we had. Now, unfortunately, this one was a slight loss. We're not perfect. We're allowed to take little losses here and there. This was our last trade for the day. We took it about 10:05, 10:06, 10:07, somewhere around there. We entered short at 96.81.5. We were short here on the DAX at 96.81.5. There was good momentum starting to build. It was really starting to get up and crank, and all the equities were going with it. Everything was starting to really get going here. And we had our target a little bit further down. It was only another, I think it was somewhere around 96 even-ish, somewhere around there. We had our target, and unfortunately we tightened up our stop, and just couldn't get further. It just wouldn't run any further. So we had this one big, basically went straight out of the gates down to, around about, about $800, I think it was, in profit there. And then we brought our stop in to break even. We're going for about a couple of grand on this trade, and then it ended up just being sideways basically for the rest of the day. And there you can see it just really tinkered away sideways. So unfortunately, it just moved slightly too much before we got in. And but part of being a good trader is knowing when to cut your losses, or knowing when to tighten up your stop. Now we gave it every chance to continue. We gave it every chance to continue on and make us some money for the day. It wasn't able to do so today. That's how the cookie rolls on this occasion. Tomorrow, maybe it'll be different. When we get a certain degree in profit, especially on the DAX, we like to tighten up. Because if the DAX is going to go, generally it's going to go in one go. right? It'll go and you have 1 or 2 bars pull back, and then boom, it'll go again and again and again, and it'll keep going, and then it'll do like this. It'll pull back and then usually stay pulled back from that point. So we like to tighten up at around about 22 points in profit on the DAX, and then normally we're looking for, our DAX trade is by far our most profitable strategy by miles, by 20 grand a year. The DAX trade is around about, just trading one contract, is around about $50,000 in profit over the last 12 months, according to our testing, and only about $3,000 or $4,000 in drawdown. So depending on your account size, that DAX strategy may or may not suit. It does require a little bit of bigger account because you are looking for bigger targets and you do have slightly bigger stops, but $50,000 on one contract, if you got the money to be able to do that, that's pretty damn good. So that's what the strategy can offer us. Today it didn't offer us anything. We ended up taking about 3 tick loss on it, 4 tick, 5 tick loss. It jumped through our stop there. We had a break even plus 2 stop and ended up jumping through that, and that's how the DAX rolls. Sometimes you get a bit of slippage over there. So that's another a point about the DAX is it's probably not the best beginner's market. Right, so don't go trade the DAX if you're new to trading. Learn on some other markets a little bit less volatile, a little bit less crazy. The DAX is really just a crazy beast, and we love to make money on it, but it can be very tough as well. So that's the 3 trades we had today. You don't have to take a million trades a day, guys, to make money. A couple of trades will put some good runs on the board. If you're just trading one contract, we're just trading one contract here on each of these, and today was $1,200 or so in profit. And we're not far off hitting our equity highs again for the year. We've had a couple of days of drawdown, pretty much back into profit for the week now. We had a couple of days at the start of the week which was a bit negative. We're back into profit for the week now, and we're just waiting to see what happens tomorrow. And then we've got the end of month coming into next week, so and the week after. So we'll see how the next 2 weeks pan out, and hopefully get us another couple of grand in profit for the month, like what we've been able to consistently do, somewhere between 1 and 2 grand profit on a $10,000 account per month. And that's what we try to do each and every month. We try to make money each and every month, and we've only had 2 losing weeks this whole year, and this is how we go about it. So we're not scalping the market. We're not looking for 4 ticks. We're not looking for 2 tick stops with a 4 tick target. Right, we're looking to let the market breathe, let the market move. Let's take a decent target. Let's do this once per day. And we take our result, we come back the next day, we do the same thing day in, day out. Guys, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you got any questions, let me know. And I'd love to see you in the next video. See you then. Bye.